Welcome to A Man's Perspective. Today, I'm having a conversation with two good friends. Gabriela, processes all my loans, gets me everything financed for me. Anthony, the federal investigator, I've known him for 20 plus years. Welcome back, guys. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, so just as usual, I'm going to ask you some questions, and then we'll have a discussion about them, see what we say, how we feel about them. Cool?
Sounds good.
All right. Okay, first question. What are some examples of double standards you've observed or experienced related to gender? The one I can think of that's the easiest to think of would be like men can walk around shirtless and women can't. It's a crime if women walk around shirtless. So what are some double standards you guys have noticed related to gender?
So one of them, I think, is driving.
Oh,
I think the thought process is men are better drivers than women.
yeah, I hear that all the time.
You know,
Yeah, I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to say in taking it in traffic collision reports, the it seems like the simplest mistakes, like inattention, are mainly done by women. Yeah. So I don't know if that makes it. I don't know if it's a double standard. I don't know if the double standard is true or not. But at least from my personal experience, yeah, because we have a checkbox in the reports that say unattention, like being on your phone and stuff. It's a lot of them, and we talk about it amongst each other, like what are some of the common ones, like unsafe lane change. But inattention with women is one of the ones that we've noticed a lot. Me and the guys at work.
I'll drink to that. It is that.
Oh,
Because the times that I've been pulled over, it was because something stupid that I did or didn't do. You know, not paying attention. I remember one time I was on my phone and I just dropped it. And I was just like,
oh, did you go down to pick it up?
yes,
Oh,
well, what I see is, you guys
I did.
putting makeup on the freeway.
my
oh
God.
yeah.
Oh,
You
I'm
know?
always doing that.
Wow. You think you think that's ever led to accidents in any people that you know?
You know what? I'm not sure. Nobody's really said anything. So I'm
Mm.
not sure. I mean, I know that I've done it before. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, we just check off inattention, but we never asked like this very specifics. Like I remember one time I was on the freeway and I looked over and this dude had a map in front of him, like covering the thing. He had a map, and so I pulled him over. Like he wasn't speeding; he was doing at the time 65. And when I pulled him over, he was like, oh, "Why'd you stop me?" I'm like, "Because you had a map in front of you. You couldn't see, dude." He's like, "I wasn't speeding. I was in my lane." I'm like, "Yeah, but you couldn't see, sir. You had a map
Right.
in front of him. He was trying to find. He has one of those big fold-out maps."
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's inattention, but we never mark that. We just mark inattention. So maybe that driving with women, maybe it's true. I don't. And just the anecdotal evidence, I would say the driving part may be true.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because I think too is, at least for me, when I get in my car, I'm going from point A to point B.
Yeah.
I'm set. I know where I'm going. I don't know if it's for you guys, okay, well, I'm going to go to point A to B and then maybe turn left to go to C. And then I'm going to stop by D real quick. And then E's where my nails are. So I'm going to come back to Z. So, all this stuff going within you guys, I'm not saying that you're being inattentive, but, I mean, if you want to throw multitasking in there, for sure. But
That is so me.
but it's like
I'm like, that
I
is
see
so me.
I see a lot of distractions when you guys are driving.
You know what? I'm hashtag feeling attacked right now.
Oh my
I
God.
don't know.
By them,
You
by the
guys-
pronoun them.
Are both of you guys following me?
I knew it was
Like,
you. I knew that
jeez.
was your car.
Yeah, I was trying to get your attention.
What about like conversations too? Like I see like with me and my friends, we're very direct. We just like, this is it. This is the issue. This is the problem. This is how you resolve it. Boom, done. And then move on to the next. But with my female friends, it goes around and around. And what color shirt were you wearing? How were you feeling that day? Do you guys feel conversations like that are different between men and women? Maybe there's a double standard in the conversations, but maybe there's not a double standard. How are your conversations with your friends? Do you feel like they're very direct, or do you think that they're very like roundabout kind of way?
They're round and about.
Do you
I don't think any of us are direct. No, I think we're like too nice to each other and we don't want to hurt each other's feelings, because us
Yeah.
chicks are super sensitive.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and then when you are direct, then the other person's mad.
Yeah, yeah, I noticed
No,
that. Yeah, yeah.
I went through that. And then I'm like, no, like, why are you mad? Like, I was being honest with you. And then later on, they were like, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry.
Well, at least that's good that they recognize that it wasn't an attack, that it was just a
Yeah.
conversation.
And I did tell her that, like, hey, thanks for apologizing. I'm glad that you saw that because I would never, lie to you. I'm a real friend. I'm going to be honest because that's what I would want from you. I'm like, I don't want you to be my cheerleader. Be honest
Yeah,
with
yeah,
me.
yeah.
And so, yeah, it ended up turning out good. But I think at the moment when you're direct, people can get really defensive.
Do you think that being direct is something that's going away across the culture, or it's still between genders?
I think it's going away as a culture because of how society is nowadays. Everybody, at least from my perspective, again, is I feel that people are. I don't want to use the term soft because you're
No, no, no. Yeah,
going
yeah,
to get
yeah,
hate
yeah.
mail, but it's just you can't be truthful in the sense that, hey, man, you messed up, and this is why. So you have to kind of go around about it to say, well, what you said may have been inappropriate in the sense that you got to give a whole drawn out explanation behind
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
instead of saying, hey, dude, you effed up, bro.
Well, sometimes some societal changes are good. Do you think that this could be a good one, or do you think it's going to have negative effects on us as a people? That not being as direct as we once were.
I don't know, man. I think the truth is the truth,
Yeah.
and there's no changing that. I mean, if you're going to hurt somebody's feelings, okay, well, you get your feelings hurt, but let me explain why I told you why.
Yeah, yeah.
And
See, but I
hopefully they
think
understand that.
when you back it up with something like that on this is why, then that's, it makes you understand, right? So that you're not feeling like you're the one being attacked. Because I think even like at some jobs, they don't want to be honest because everybody's trying to watch what you say to somebody so you're not in any kind of trouble,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah, even us at work, they everything's recorded now. So even when we say inappropriate stuff or bad words, we can get suspended.
Well, you know it as well as I do, man. I mean, you know, when you're on the job and you're dealing with somebody, like for me, what I always used to do is, if let me do what I have to do, and then I want to explain to you why I did it. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's up to you. But let me explain it rather than, being aggressive, doing what you have to do, and then leaving and
Yeah,
not giving the explanation as to why. For me, that used to go a long way.
So maybe that's the change that we're trying to achieve. That we're instead of being just like, "Hey, you messed up," but this is why. This is how you fix it. Maybe that's the change that we're trying to get as a society. Like we're trying to expand our communication skills. That could be a possible thing.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, but I think it's going to be a hard shift though because the pendulum is really really on one side right now. Um, with everybody correcting and trying to cancel and changing people's ways of speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think hopefully we get to the point like you just mentioned where we are. I think because I think that's very effective because people like options. People don't like just to be told one thing. People like to think like I can. Well, okay, I did this wrong, but I can do A, B, or C. We like options.
I agree.
You got to put it in the sense that you're not telling them what to do. They're making up that decision on their own.
Yeah.
But in the end game is you want them to conform to what they need to do.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So do you, Gabby, when people are very direct with you, how does that make you feel a certain kind of way?
You know what? Yes. But I think it has a lot to do with me being in therapy. So I'm super sensitive, right?
Yeah.
And at first I was taking it as, attacking me. And then later on when I was and then I was like, okay, like it's not even like that. Like, why am I so sensitive to this? You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, so now, I mean, I'm getting a little bit better and
The therapy is helping.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think I think therapy is one of those things that we all need. We all need to communicate what's going on in our lives, and with someone who's wiser, smarter, more educated to better resolve those issues and teach us different things about how to resolve those issues. So yeah, I'm glad it's working for you. It's good to
Thank
hear.
you.
Yeah, but not
Thank
all
you.
therapists are great.
That's true.
That is true because I've gone through so many and I kid you not, I finally found one and she's amazing. So what I do is after like my therapy, I call my two of my girlfriends who are in therapy themselves and we all share notes and they're like, damn, that was good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I
they're not all that.
I had one when my marriage went south, and so rather than just calling it quits, yeah, okay, I'll take the time out to do the therapy. And at first, it was me on my own with her. Things were great. Once she brought in the ex-wife, they ganged up and
Oh,
attacked me.
oh.
And I was like, oh man, I know I'm out of here.
Yeah, like deuces.
Yeah. And then later on, I met with someone else who was great.
Yeah.
Now, she might have been biased a little bit because very pro law enforcement, and I could not do anything wrong in her eyes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love you.
Want to marry me? Yeah, I had one therapist. He talked more about him. I knew, yeah,
Oh,
I knew he wrote a book, how he got the cover for his book, when he published it, who he published with, how many kids he had, where he lived, where he grew up, what school.
wow.
I knew everything about him. And on the third session, I told him, "Hey, sir, I thought the therapy is supposed to be about me. I know everything about you, sir. I know where you grew up. I know how old you are. I
Right.
know your wife. I know." And he got so offended. He got
No
so,
way.
yeah, he got so offended, and he started telling me, yeah, like I was telling my wife, why are people afraid of me? And I thought to my mind, what a stupid thing to say. Why are people? Are you trying to sound intimidating? Because you're not intimidating at all, dude. But yeah, he got mad at me.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, you're absolutely right. Some therapists are just,
Dude.
yeah, they're no bueno, no good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're right. You're right. You gotta find the right one for
Yeah.
you that communicates the way you understand, that understands that's kind of relates to you a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, at least for me, man, going into something like that, I'm already guarded. I'm
Oh
already
yeah.
thinking, oh man, you're gonna judge me.
Yeah.
Judgy
Yeah.
eyes. You got judgy
Yeah.
eyes.
Hmm, hmm.
So
What are
it's
you
kind of
thinking?
like make me feel at ease.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that therapy thing, we do have to find the right one, but sometimes it can take so long because I remember I went through like 4 different therapists before I found one that I thought was good for me.
Yeah, pretty much about the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I only had 2.
you're lucky right off the bat. The golden
Wet ass
child.
story.
Good for you. All right, next question. In what ways do double standards impact relationships and interactions between men and women? It's kind of related to the first one. So, but more specific with relationships. How do man? I had a great idea about this one, but I don't know. I just lost it. So I'm gonna hopefully it comes back while you guys are talking.
So one thing for me, when I was married, the double standard was, you know, I couldn't just go out and hang out with my buddies like
Yeah.
a guy's night, you know, um, but it was okay for her to go to her girlfriend's house. They're not going out. She'll be at the house drinking, hooping, and hollering. And, hey, I drank too much. I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
If I was to do that, forget it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that's like the major issue. One of the major issues that I had, I wasn't my own person at that time,
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's part of it.
What do you think she was? Do you think that that's a double standard that exists?
You know what? I think it's different for everybody because I've experienced that too, where I was not allowed to go anywhere. I really didn't even see my girlfriends,
Oh wow.
you know? Yeah, because it was like, well, every time you talk to him, you're probably going to go out. But I only went out when I was single. And so I kind of went through the same thing, but he was going out everywhere doing stuff.
Yeah,
And then if it was me, oh, you're probably throwing yourself out there. You're going to, and I'm like, what?
right.
Like, I don't even pay attention to people. I stick by my girlfriends. So, yeah. And I think it just depends with everybody.
Yeah.
To me, I've never, like, when I was married, I didn't care if he went out. It gave me a chance to miss him and get out and go do something. And I went to dinners with my girlfriends and, you know, we went out dancing a few times, but he did his own thing.
Yeah.
What about like dating? Are there double standards in dating that we're bringing up relationships?
I think one, and I'll probably get bashed for this. I think the double standard is that the woman feels the man should pay for the date. Now, for me, sure, if I was dating, yeah, I mean, but that's just how I was brought up.
Yeah,
You know, I'm the man, I'm gonna take care of it. So, you know, I'm making comments for the question. I believe that is a double standard. You know, would I feel different if a woman says, "Hey, I got all this"? I probably would be, well, no, you know, because I'm the man. Let me take care of this. So I don't know if it's relatable.
Yeah, I think it's relatable. I think that is a double standard. Going back to traditional norms, do a lot of people, I think a lot of women now are expecting men to be traditional, hold the door open, pay for the first date, plan the first date. And I don't know if women on their side are being traditional. Because what I see, what I see is like, not just women, but men too, they're dating multiple people at the same time. They're not, very few men and women are just going out with one person at a time until they become the girlfriend or boyfriend. But most people have like multiple people that they're going out with. And I would say that the traditional value on the woman's side would be to date one guy at a time, and for the guy to be chivalrous and also do one guy at a time or one person at a time. So I think those traditional norms are kind of going away, but they're still expected of men. Are they?
I mean, yes,
Yeah.
they are. And it's funny how you say the whole dating thing at one time because you know my whole story from a few
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you know it too, right?
Yeah.
With my two-timer? That
wasn't awesome. That dude is crazy.
Right? That was like such a crazy story. Like, we still trip out on it that this guy's like dating a friend of mine.
That's the best
he
part.
had no clue.
I don't know. I have no idea. I never talked to him after that. I went ghost. I went ghost mode. I had nothing to say.
One of the more interesting things was like how alike you two and your friend, because you showed me a picture of her.
Everybody said that.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, you guys look like sisters. You guys
Yeah.
look like twins. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Everybody said
So
that.
we know his standard, you know, what he likes.
Yeah. That was a crazy story.
That's a trip.
But how
Right.
weird that he would let himself get pictures on. If you know you're dating multiple people, why would you let yourself get posted on Instagram like that? Because that's what caught him, right? You found the picture on Instagram?
No, she posted it on Facebook.
Oh, Facebook. I'm sorry. I know it was one of the social
kind of
medias.
same thing, but
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So it was the first thing that I woke up to, and I'm like, whoa,
That's
yeah.
I still can't get over that. That you guys were friends. That's the crazy part. That you guys, and you said you're really good friends though, right?
I mean, she used to do my facials, you know. So I used to see her a lot, and then I knew her through mutual friends. I partied with her in Vegas.
But you guys follow each other, right?
Oh
on
yeah,
social media?
yeah.
What a
Yeah,
small
that's
world.
crazy.
Yeah, what a
Yeah.
small
So
world.
let me ask you this: who posted first? You?
Oh,
or
I
her?
never posted.
Oh, okay.
Hell no,
okay.
would ever post.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no, not until it's my man. I'm gonna be posting.
Right.
But you know, yeah, she posted it. But
Ah.
she said that she was feeling like some type of weird vibe, that she felt that he wasn't being honest about something. She's like, I just thought, you know what, let me throw it out there and see what pops up. And I kid you not, I was debating, do I say anything? Do I not? You know, I had another girlfriend who she was kind of dating a two-timer. And when I said something that I knew him trying to get with another friend of mine, she came at me like, you're just jealous, you're a hater. So I've always kind of stood quiet after that. Like, I don't want to be that person when I was being honest, right? So with my girlfriend, I was like, okay, do I do it? Do I not? And then, but I knew that she had been through some stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
you know? And so I just, all I asked her was like, hey, is that so-and-so? And then she was like, how do you know him? And then it clicked into her and she was like, wait, were you with him yesterday? And I was like, yeah,
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
uh, so that's twice. Huh? What a small world for you that you would run into that, like, seemingly so often.
Dude,
Wow.
that's crazy.
That's very interesting.
Huh.
Did your friend still keep in touch with him?
No, she kind of like called him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he was like, no, it's not true.
He denied it?
I think he was denying it, right?
That's awesome.
And, yeah. But she was like, no, she cut him off. And
If I was him, I would just say, no, that's you, babe. Because you look so much alike. That's you.
I would have said the same thing.
I thought it was you. I thought it was you.
That's you. What are you talking about? That was 2 months ago. Remember? That was you.
Next day, different outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would have said.
that's
No,
true.
that's you, babe. What are you talking about? Rather than denying it. So regarding dating, do you think that dating is easier or harder for each gender? Do you think will men have it harder, or do you think women have it harder when it comes to dating?
I think it's harder, period. Not just for us. I think it's for you guys too. Because I've heard a lot of stories from guy friends of stuff that happens with them. And I don't think it's just us. I just think it's all of it. It's all of us, period. Social media. Everybody is looking for the next best thing. And yeah, it's horrible.
What about you? Do you think it's way harder for men or for women?
Oh, definitely harder for a man. And the reason is I think a man can't dictate how the date's going to go. It's all up to you guys.
That is true.
Yeah.
The moment you start curling your hair or blow dry your hair, you know how that evening will go. You know?
That's not true. Not just because I get ready.
Come on now, but you know exactly.
Not true, but
within 10 to 15 minutes of that date, I would say most women know how it's going to end, whether it's going to be good or bad.
I agree with you on that part.
Yeah. And I think for men, I agree with Anthony. For men, it's harder, not just because the day of the date. I think for men, it's harder because men, if I was a slob, if I didn't have a job, if I lived in my mom's basement, I wouldn't even get a date. I've had to prepare my whole life to be the type of man that women want to date. If I didn't have my charisma on point, my words on point, my style on point, my hair, if I didn't have all that ready, then I wouldn't be getting dates. So I've been working my whole life. Say I get a date tomorrow. I'm going to get a date tomorrow. I've been working my whole life to get that date. It's not just I got up and got to get ready. So that's why I think it's harder for men. I think that's one thing that maybe some guys don't even understand that either. But I think for sure most women don't understand that men have been preparing their whole life for the date that they're going to get next week, next month, next year. Make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think so too. So
I'd be praying. I prepare that day. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, just kidding.
It's all a numbers game, man, because, women can choose from, say, 10 options. Where guys like, man, I only got one option. I got to make this last.
It's got to work.
That is so true. Okay, I have a funny story to tell you guys on that part.
Okay.
So yesterday I was telling this friend of mine, Andy, that when I was in high school, I was all heartbroken because this guy broke up with me, right?
Yeah.
And I remember my uncle was like, he was always like giving me advice, and he's like, Mija, well, why are you crying? You work at the mall. Look at you. How many guys are you talking to right now? And I'm all crying. I'm all, I don't know, like 18. And he goes, then why are you crying? Until yesterday, my friend says, wait, how does one talk to freaking 18 people? And I was like, I don't know. I used to talk to everybody. But it was so funny because I always remember that story that I'm crying. And he goes, so then why are you crying? And I was like, No.
And
That's funny.
I would say that that's a lot of women's like life, you know. Like I would say most women have 3 or 4, 5, 18 guys that are potentials that are there, you know, on the back burner waiting for them.
I have 18, but that one.
Yeah.
Well, no comment.
For guys, I don't know about Anthony, but at least for me, it's like we struggle to get that one, you know, that one date, that one girl. So it's work on our part. It's not. We don't have that many options. At least I know guys that do have the options like that,
Yeah.
but they're tall. That whole saying tall, dark, and handsome, or 6'6", 6 foot, 6 figure, six pack, all that stuff. Yeah, those guys do, but regular dudes like me, oh man, it's work to get just one date.
Yeah.
So it's I love that story though. Thank you for sharing that. 'Cause I think that makes perfect like sense for the life of a woman.
For real, man. Because I mean, you know, look, guys are coming at you at every angle.
Oh yeah,
You know,
I would say for attractive girls like you probably you can't go anywhere. I would say you go to the store, there's someone following you. You go to the mall, there's someone trying to say hi. I would say, and that's not our, at least for me, that's not my experience.
no, that's not my experience at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody comes up to me. But then
Yeah.
again, too, I mean, I've been told I don't look approachable.
I find you very handsome. So
Well, thank you.
if I saw you in the street, I'd be like, "Hey, what's up?
Where you from, fool?
Want to go get a beer?"
Oh my gosh.
We're just joking. We're just joking. It's the alcohol talking. It's the alcohol
No,
talking.
you're not even drinking, bro.
Well, yeah. Thank you for that story. I appreciate it. It's funny too. Thank you for
Yeah,
It
that.
is
no, I
funny,
was
yeah.
laughing about it yesterday too.
Yeah. All right. So let me see. Next question. What advice would you give to someone navigating the complexities of modern dating and relationships? Wow,
Ooh.
that's a tough one because
Yeah, that is a tough one.
I would say that most, just like I said earlier, most people are talking, well, certain age groups are talking to more than one person at a time. They're talking to multiple people, whether it be it on social media or in real life, but they're having multiple interactions at the same time. The whole one-on-one monogamy thing, I think is, I think is rare now. I think it's what's best for the country and for our society, but I think it's rare.
I think even though dating has evolved, there still has to be a certain commitment.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
You know, I mean, who doesn't want the fairy tale deal of, you know, hey, this person has my heart and I have theirs. I think what has kind of diluted the waters is all these dating sites and all this other stuff, because now it's like an assembly line of women and or men, and you know, you're like, okay, well, let me, like Amazon, let me put these in my cart and you know, keep that on the back burner.
Great analogy.
At least
People are a
that's,
product.
you know. I
Oh my
mean,
God,
that's what you see.
Yeah.
That's what you see.
Not
You
gonna lie, I have a
know,
cart.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's. I don't know if it's the old family value still. You know, I mean, obviously we were all involved and or are now still. We were all married at one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, nobody goes into a relationship and or a marriage and say, okay, I'm gonna just hang out for a week and I'm out. No, you know, I mean, you go into it thinking this is long term. You know, and I think depending on the partner nowadays too, it's kind of like, well, yeah, there's a commitment there, but I still have my own life.
Yeah.
And not to say that your own life means, well, when I'm with you, I'm just with you, but when you're not around, I'm gonna go do some crazy stuff. No, you know, I mean, as adults, why can't you be in a relationship and then still say, hey, I'm still going to go out and hang out? You know, it's, and it's that individual that has to tell themselves, look, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out for myself. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean I'm going out and I'm on the prowl or I'm going hunting for something, you know?
Well, I think like on that part, that's a healthy relationship for you to go out and be able to do that.
Sure.
What happens is we have that person who has their insecurities. That's where it all goes wrong. It's because of their insecurities. But like I've talked to therapists, and that is the normal. You should have your own life.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I really haven't come across a person where I'm allowed to be myself.
See, I'm
And
very
that's been,
fortunate. I'm very
yeah.
fortunate that I'm in a relationship where she's very independent. I'm very independent, you know, and it works, you know. There's no there's respect in the sense that, hey, I'm going to do this, but it's not I'm asking for permission, and vice versa, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, I got an event to do. Okay, have fun, enjoy. Talk to you later, you know. So, but again, that's a relationship that is completely different than what I ever had, you know, being the person that I couldn't do anything. I could go to work, but I will tell you, if I had to work over the time that I was supposed to get off, the phone was getting blown up.
Yeah, I
You
remember
know?
your ex-wife calling me.
Yeah.
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 So, you know, it's totally different, and I enjoy that.
Yeah. So how did we get to that point where we can build those types of relationships? Because why is it that most relationships aren't that way?
I think it's trial and effort, or trial and
Error.
yeah, you know, trial and error. Um, and it's unfortunate that I say this, but I think you have to probably date multiple times to actually find that person that's going to be like, hey, man, you know, I had a great time with you. Let's continue it. But I won't be blowing you up. You don't blow me up, you know? And who knows what that number is? Where's that magic number? I don't know.
What about you? Do you think there's a way to find those relationships or build that level of trust?
I mean, I think so. I just haven't got there yet, you know. I mean, in my experience, I've just had the person more who wants to control me, you know, and I'm not allowed to do anything. I'm not allowed to be my, you know, be myself and do things, you know. And I know that now moving forward, once I see that, I'm not dealing with it
Right.
because I shouldn't have to not be myself, you know. And so, yeah, I don't know. Good luck for me.
You know, I wonder in your case, because you are attractive, I wonder if men are very insecure about that. And, you know, I think the only way they can be with someone like you would to be controlling. And I'm not making excuses,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
for men and in their actions, but, you know, I don't know. I don't know if it's like, man, you know, you're going to go out and you're going to get hit on by 1,000 guys, you know, and not really giving you the credit to say, well, wait a minute, I got my own mind, you know, I'm
Yeah.
going to do what I'm going to do, you know? So I don't know. I don't know if it's kind of a weak-minded issue
I think it
with
is.
men.
I think it is. Um, because when I did go out with friends, the funniest thing is that I stick with my girlfriends, or if I saw you guys, I would stick by you guys so nobody comes up to me.
Yeah, yeah.
So people really don't come up to me. I'm always with friends.
Right. Right.
So, but then I got accused of doing everything. So I'm like,
Yeah. That makes it tough. That makes it tough.
yeah.
Well, that sucks. So are relationships doomed? Like,
I don't think they are. I don't think they are, but I do think that, and it's just like anything else, man, you're gonna have to find that person that's compatible, and you know, I mean, yeah, they do say opposites attract, and it does happen. Um, and again, the fairy tale of, you know, my high school sweetheart. You know, I got friends that well, my compas children, you know, his daughter, she met this guy in high school. They're married. They have a child. They're strong. And yeah, I've known people that went to high school with my father, same thing, high school sweethearts, and developed their relationships. So I don't think it's over, But like I said, man, I think if you're in the dating pool, you know, you're going to have to take a few jumps off the diving board a few times before you can just chill in the shallow end now, you know?
Wow. Oh, yeah. I hope relationships aren't doomed because we need them. You know, we need our society to keep growing and to keep functioning. And the only way to do that is through relationships and offspring.
Well, you know, the truth, man, just be honest. If you're honest, a relationship will survive.
Yeah, but how honest? Like, how would you feel if your partner said, "Oh man, that guy is super hot," or "That girl is super hot." You know, how would you feel if your partners were? And I'm sure we can all think of something that would trigger us. But I just said that just to as an example. But how honest is there such thing as too honest?
You know, for me, I'm pretty confident. I'm a confident guy. So if my girl was to say, "Hey, you know, that dude's got good muscles," okay, cool. You know, glad you admire him. You know,
Yeah.
you know, does that make me gonna want to go home and do 1,000 push-ups? No, not at all. You know, now if we're out and she says, "Oh, that guy's got big muscles," and walks over and starts grabbing them, like, well, wait a minute here.
Yeah.
I'm right here. Hello.
What about you? Is there something? Is there such a thing as being too honest, or is honesty always the best policy?
I mean, I think so. I mean, I've never done the things like, oh, hey, that guy's hot. Like,
Yeah, that's
because
just
I really,
disrespectful.
yeah,
I'm
no,
just-
I mean, I really don't care, but I don't know. I think I'm a little more respectful, and when I'm out, I'm just very reserved. I'm just with that person, and but I think the whole honesty part, like, not everybody's like that. I know
Oh yeah, I
am,
agree.
but
But is that the best way to build a relationship? Do you think? Are the relationships that are honest? Are they the strongest?
you know what? I'm not sure. I don't know.
Think about your friends that have long-term relationships. Are they pretty honest with each other, or are they more mischievous?
No, I think they're honest with each other.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think you have to be, man.
Yeah.
I think you have to be. And again, I'm not saying that that happens all the time, but what I'm just saying is be honest.
Yeah.
You know, and honest in the sense that, hey, there's a guy's trip coming up. I'm going. You know, not oh, you know, I fell and I was in the hospital and I lost my phone for a week and I couldn't call you. I mean, come on, bro. You know,
My dog ran away. I couldn't find him for 2 years.
right? Oh, my car broke down in the desert and I had no phone. I barely survived.
Yeah.
And you're yelling at me. You know, it's like, come on.
You don't know my suffer. my pain. No, I think honesty is the best policy because either way in relationships there's gonna be pain. And when you're honest, this is how I see it. When you're honest up front, the pain that's caused from that honesty, whether it's look at how hot he is or how that person is this much. If I could put it like into a physical thing, it's this much pain. But when you're dishonest and the truth finally comes out and you have to be honest, the pain that's caused is exponential.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that's how I see it. So I think that we should try to be as honest as we can be. Obviously, we're not going to be 100% honest because sometimes, how do these pants make me look? You know, and in your mind, you're like, oh, well, what do you think of them? I think I look great. Well, then you're going to say you look great because you want to support your partner,
Well, look,
even though
dude,
you think, oh, I wouldn't wear
look,
those.
man, you know, they come to you and say, hey, do these pants make my ass look big?
Yeah,
No,
like, no,
it's your fatness that makes the ass look big. I mean, call it what it
it's
is.
your big ass and that looks big.
You know, but you're not lying. But, you know, and I do understand what you're saying. I mean, you know, you can't be too brutally honest,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I think we're always going to try to do what's best for our partners and supporting them and making them feel good. And so sometimes, whether you want to, I've heard them call it white lies or small lies, but yeah, I don't think everyone's 100%, but I think we should try to be as honest as we can be. I think that builds or forges the strongest relationships.
Well, look, dude, somebody that ever comes up to you and says, look, I'm the most honest person you'll ever meet. I don't lie.
Oh,
You're already lying
Run.
right there.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's nonsense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, so good points, both of you. All right. So next question. How do male friendships differ from female friendships, if at all?
You take this
no,
one.
no one wants to
How
start.
do they differ?
because we all know that they're different. They're significantly different. I'll start just by saying, um, I talk to my male friends differently than I talk to my female friends. To my male friends, I can be very direct, very blunt, very forthcoming as far as like what the problem is and how to fix it. And they are with me. You know, my male friends have told me some super difficult stuff that kind of felt like a kick in the gut to me, but I love them for doing it. With my female friends, I have to go the long way around, you know. How was yesterday? How is today? It's and I don't think that that's a bad thing necessarily, but I do notice a difference, and just in the communication between my female friends and male friends. Do you have different relationships with females versus males?
I do. I do. I mean, girlfriends, we talk about everything, right? But girls are very catty. So that just gets annoying. So I used to always like having guy friends because I didn't have all the drama between the whole girls being jealous and all that. And I could talk about things. And I mean, there's certain things I wouldn't talk about, and I'll talk about with my girlfriends, but girls are just so catty.
Are girls vindictive? Really?
Oh, yeah.
Are they jealous?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Even amongst really close friends?
Yes.
Wow.
I went through that with a few friends, and I stopped talking to a few of them, and you know, it all came down to them being jealous, and you know, and I'm like, why? Like, we're all friends, you know, and they would talk about how, like, oh, when you go out, like, you do yourself up and you do this and you do that and you love wearing lashes and you'll throw in your hair extensions. And I was like, but so what? Like, I like to look good, like, and take care of myself.
Yeah, guys
And
do the
so
same
then,
thing.
like, one girl was ratting out the other, and then I had a falling out with her for just calling her out. And I was just like, okay, I'll keep you at a distance, right? And then they end up hanging out and are best friends. And guess what they were both doing? Threw in the hair extensions, wearing the lashes. And I'm like, wait a
Wow.
minute. Yeah. So yeah, and then I was like, where did that come from? Like, that's not cool.
Do you think it's a competition? Like, do women see it as a competition, as life as a competition, or do you think they're just trying to move themselves up the social ladder?
I think that.
Trying
I
to move
think they
themselves up
do.
the social
Yeah.
ladder?
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's just straight emotions. I think, women are more emotional than men are.
Yes.
Same thing, with my core group of friends. If we got something serious to talk about, we hit it head on.
Mhm.
But the majority of the time, it's all laughs and we're talking about each other in a humorous way. And but when it comes to having female friends, for me, it's a little different because I'm kind of the same way with them as I am with my guy friends. I really don't change. I talk shit and I f bomb everything.
Mhm.
I mean, I have friends that I've made when my kids were in grammar school,
Mhm.
and I'll send them stupid memes like if I was a guy. You know, um, so I guess when I'm with them, I'm one of the girls, but when I'm with the guy, I'm one of the guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, my demeanor really doesn't change on either aspect of it. So, um, but again, too, there's levels of friendship.
Oh, good
Again,
point.
I have my core group who they're not my friends, they're my brothers. And then I'll have another group who are my friends, so it just depends, I guess, on that aspect of it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because I have acquaintances, I would say, but as far as like guys that I would go to for anything, it's a handful. Like you're one of the guys I would go to for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too, also it's that bond and the career that you're in, the career that I was in. And, so you can't just go to the average person to talk to because, and we've discussed this before, people aren't really going to understand what you've gone through, you know? So, that just depends.
Yeah. A lot of people don't understand the fear that overcomes us. Like,
oh, for
when
sure.
you see a gun, oh my God, the fear. Just people think like, oh, it's all fun and games being a cop and all the chases and stuff. No, man. Some of the times I've been so afraid sometimes where I was like, oh, I can feel it in me. To see that gun
you
and
see,
coming up, you're like, what the?
you see these things, it talks about law enforcement, I'm the one who goes into the dark alleys or, when you're asleep, I'm out there. But people don't realize, you're a human being.
Oh, yeah.
And that fear factor is real.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
For sure it is.
Yeah.
For sure. But, I don't know. That was kind of off the topic. So the topic was, is there a difference between having guy friends and girlfriends? Girls that are friends.
Yeah. No, but that was a good point. That was a good segue to going into the types of conversations that we have with people. Because, when I have an issue, I go to my core group of guy friends.
Right.
I don't go to just average people or people that don't know our life. I don't because number one, they don't understand it. Number one, they don't. When I say I was in fear, you'll know what that means, but you're not gonna know because you've never had that fear of thinking that you're gonna die, thinking that that this is it for you. But he knows right away when I said, "Damn, Anthony, I was so afraid." He's gonna right away because he's been through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just go to certain people when I have issues.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we all do that though,
Yeah.
And I think a lot has to do with is not being judged.
True.
That's the comfort that you have for that, So
the not being judged. Is there a time when judgment is okay or necessary?
Well, I think it is because again, as being a human being, you have your own opinions on things.
Yeah.
You got your own mind, and you have your own emotions about certain things. So, if you want to judge someone for the actions they do, I mean, that's your God-given right to do.
Perfect.
However,
you still love that person. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. But again, it goes back to you explain to them why.
Yes.
You're got judgy eyes.
Condescending eyes. Those condescending eyes. You're so condemning. No, but you're right. We judge the action, not the we still love the person, but we can say, like, if someone's going around kicking puppies, like, hey dude, that's not good. Don't go around kicking puppies.
Don't kick puppies.
Yeah. So but we still love that person. And like you said, you tell them, you address it in a way that they understand it.
Yeah, for sure.
So what about you? Is judgment always bad or always can be good, or do you disagree with this? Or is that apple cider getting to you? That's apple cider, by the way, people.
Thanks.
It's not
Yeah.
This isn't.
I knew it. He's drinking.
So, yeah, I think we can judge people and still be loving to them. I think that's the best way to be.
Well, let's take it a step further. Okay, you're in a relationship, and you're in that relationship, but yet the majority of your friends are girls. How is that managed?
Oh wow, yeah. How do you manage having? I don't know if you do, but do you have more male friends or female friends?
And I'm sorry, the opposite for you. You're in a relationship and you have more male friends.
I do have a lot of male friends, but I mean, when I was in a relationship, it's more like high and by. I don't really talk to people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one way of managing it. Just getting rid of them. Not getting rid of them, but cut off communication while you're in that relationship.
Yeah.
Does that work?
No, because I'm still accused of everything. So,
well, see, for me, I think the thing to do is, these are friends of mine. So you introduce your partner
I agree with you on
to
that.
these friends.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. You don't hide them.
I agree with you
Okay,
because
but what if one of your friends is like 1,000 times more attractive than your lady? How do you think she's gonna feel about that?
Well, I mean, that's her own thing, though, man. I mean,
yeah.
and if it comes down to something, and I guess to timing, if I've known my lady longer than this person that I met, look, I'm not going to sacrifice or jeopardize this for this friendship. Obviously, I'd be, hey, look, man, because of my situation and the person I'm with, I'm focusing on her. I may not be able to talk to you like we used to anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Wise. Very wise.
and if you're an adult, you'll accept that and understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not, and you want to act like a little girl, bye, Felicia.
Bye,
Because
Felicia.
I think there's potential with this person. And at the end of the day, it's all about love here. Not to say there's no love on this side with your friends,
Yeah.
but the love is different. On
Oh,
this side,
absolutely. Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it.
So you've always just cut off the friendships?
Yeah. I mean, I had some that I didn't cut off. And then, like, once I introduced them to the person that I was with, they were like, oh my God, it's so nothing like I thought. I was like, oh my God, no, it's not. I think once they saw that, but then he also had girlfriends and he introduced them. So it was like no secret, right?
Yeah.
Where the last person that I was with, he hit everybody.
Wow.
And it was okay for him to have friends, but it wasn't okay for me.
Wow. That's a difficult one. Is there a way to fix that? Like if you, like I remember your ex-wife, she was, what did you do to try to fix that?
I tried everything. I tried. See, the problem with her is, and I don't want to get too far into it, but a lot of mental health issues developed. And so there was really no reasoning, at that point. I couldn't say, look, that's just a friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no way at that point. It was too far gone. So, um, I think it creates problems when it becomes something after the fact. You spend time with somebody, develop a relationship, and then say, oh, by the way, I got this friend, it's Miss America, and, but we're just friends.
Oh, so introduce them early on then.
For sure. I mean, if this is your friend,
Yeah.
bring that friend into the situation that you're in. So there's no issues of trust or no issues of, well, wait a minute, this is shady.
Yeah.
First you said it was your cousin.
But
understand,
you told me she was 300 pounds. What happened?
But understand this though, you're in a relationship and you're used to hanging out with your friends. I mean, be transparent. Well, what friends are you going to hang out with? Hey, my friends are taking a Vegas trip. Well, what friends, bro? I mean, come on. Like you say, that's where the honesty comes in.
Yeah.
Hey, Angelina and her 10 girlfriends, they all want to go to Vegas and they want me to go. I don't think I'm going to agree to go with that.
Yeah.
So we do have to use some sense then.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. So what have you done to kind of correct those issues where trust is an issue? And did it work?
You know what? Nothing really works for me. He was like, well, I want like access to your phone and all that, but then he wouldn't give me his. And then so one day he was like, so what he would do is this, Andy, like come over and then like, let me see your phone. Here, you can see mine. Well, now you're throwing your phone at me. Why? Because you probably wiped it out. So all of a sudden one day I was like, let me see your phone. He was like, no. I said, let me see your phone. He's like, no. I said, so don't ask to see mine. Oh, you're probably hiding something, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, it's just, I mean, come on.
Yeah, the phone is one of those things that, the Supreme Court has says regarding law enforcement that phones are so private that we need a warrant to go into them. Because before, when we first started, we should just get them and go through them. But now we can't. Now we need a warrant to go through them. I think it's the same thing in life. I think phones, because I know, because you do my loans for. I'm a realtor. I have people's financial documents in there. I have people's bank statements in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so if someone were to say, to give me my phone, whether my kids or the partner, whatever, I'd be like, I can't, because I can't let you see these people's stuff. I even have my own, like I have my birth certificate in there,
Yeah.
my divorce papers in there. I have
I have everything
everything.
in mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
My
everything.
phone has my whole life. If anybody would ever get to it, they would know everything about me.
Yeah.
When my kids were born, when I got divorced, everything.
See, for me, I don't trip on that. You know, my girl, if she's like, hey, your phone's ringing, she won't grab it.
It's
But
good.
I'll be like, hey, bring it to me.
Yeah.
I don't care. And vice versa.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
If she needs to get into it, if it locks up, hey, here's a code. I have nothing to hide.
Mm.
You know? She's a financial advisor, so she's got a lot of stuff you know, either on her computer or on her phone. But then again, that's not my nature.
Yeah.
I'm not a jealous guy whatsoever. I'm
Yeah.
not. I take things at face value. Some people may say that's dumb, but look, I'm not gonna go around searching for things, because look, at the end of the day, if you're being a dirty bird, it's gonna come out anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mhm.
I don't need the heartache of thinking, oh my God, why is she going? Where is she going?
Yeah.
No, I can't, man.
Mhm.
Nah, go.
Yeah, I tell people that's wasted energy. If someone's
Totally.
gonna do something disrespectful to you, they're gonna do it regardless
Yeah.
of how much you try to follow them.
Sure.
You know, you're better off just living your life, doing what's best for you and the relationship, instead of trying to figure out whether she's doing something bad or not, because you're not gonna stop it.
Right.
If that's the kind of person that you're with, it's gonna happen irregardless.
Mhm.
So it's better to choose a person that you know is trustworthy, has shown you
Right.
she can be trustworthy. Like what you just said, like, oh yeah, pick 'em, can you hand it to me? Not to look at it, but can you hand it to me? You know, and, oh, okay, she trusts you with the phone. That's trustworthy person.
I mean, and you know, it's that adage, what you don't know won't hurt you.
Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, I've heard
You
that.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you got to be a dummy. You know, you see things with your own eyes, so you figure it out from that point. But you know, I'm not going around searching for stuff. You know, it's bad juju, bad energy, and I'm all about being
Do
positive.
you do that? Do you go looking for stuff?
I don't go looking for stuff. He was the one that hacked into my phone, my email,
You
showed
hacked
up
into your phone?
That's crazy.
he
You
he
know
was
how
in,
hard that is?
yeah. Well, you know what he did is he went to my house and had my son let him in, and then I left my whole work bag there that had all my passwords. So I'm at work in a meeting
Wow.
and I'm getting messages, so and so's in your email, and I'm like, what? And I'm like,
Wow.
what are you doing?
Yeah, that's way too much. That's way,
No,
way
but
too
I mean,
much.
it was the whole following me, showing up at my work, at my house, like,
And this is
you know,
he's actively your guy, and he's doing this.
yeah, he was,
That's crazy.
Wow,
yeah.
I thought this was after the fact, after you guys broke up.
Some of them were after breakups, but still, if you're broken up with me,
Wow,
I'm
yeah,
not.
yeah.
I was never at his house. I was never doing any of that. But I would be at my swimming pool with girls, right? And the girls would be like, "Oh my God, look who's at the gate!" And I'm like,
Oh,
yeah.
geez, no
Another time
way.
last year, I was at the Dodger game, and then I'm getting calls. Oh, because I posted like that I was in LA,
Yeah.
and I just get messages like, "You better not be with the dude. I'm at your house, and I have a gun." And I'm like, "What?"
Oh man.
And I was like, "I'm with," and I did a video with my girlfriend, like, "I'm with girls."
Yeah, that's criminal now. When
Yeah.
he's at your house waiting for you and breaking in and getting your stuff like that, that's criminal. You should have. Oh, you're not still with him before I start saying anything bad about him. Huh? Okay, yeah, then you should have. I'm glad that you're not in that relationship, because that turned from just jealousy type relationship to criminal actions. Yeah,
For
you can't.
Yeah.
sure, man.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
can't be.
that's obsessive behavior.
Yeah, it's even stalking too. That's
For sure.
Well, it was all of that. And so it's funny how you say that. That's like obsessive. He told me, "I don't know what it is about you, but I am obsessed with you." And I'm like,
no. He's like that with everybody.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think so too, because
That's a
he's been in
line.
these. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's a line. Yeah.
And I agree with you on that part. And I just think whoever he was with, maybe the things that he was doing, because he did it to a few people. And when we've compared stories, it's pretty much all the same.
Yeah.
a lot of the actions that, you know, at least guys do, you know, they get upset at their girlfriends or what have you, because they're doing stuff they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Most
it
of the time
catches
that's what
up
it
with
is, yeah.
them and start
Yeah.
thinking, well, if I'm doing it, they're gonna do it.
It's your
You
own
know?
guilt that gets you.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. You know?
And that's what I think was going on with me. And I even said it because he would accuse me, and I'm like, but if you're saying all this, why am I not the one doing all these stupid things you're doing?
right.
Shut up at your work. You know, no, there would be times, Andy, where my doors in my car didn't lock. And he'd be like, oh, by the way, I went by your office and I went in your car and I took my sweater. I'm all,
Oh,
what? You were here?
Gee,
Yeah.
that's out of control.
Dude, how long were you with this guy?
I don't know, like 3.5 years.
What?
Seemed like dog years. Like,
Wow, that's crazy.
This guy must have been exceptionally handsome because, man, how do you... Well, obviously, he probably didn't show that in the beginning, right? That probably
no,
kinda-
not that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah.
No.
That's
That's
something
kind
that...
of how it starts. You know,
Yeah,
you think,
yeah.
oh man, this guy is the nicest person ever
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
And once they feel they lock you in,
Yeah, that's when they
the
show the
real
true
person
colors.
comes
Yeah.
out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how
So
do
I've heard.
That's what they say online. That's what they say online. Not that I know from personal experience, but that's what they say online.
Asking for a friend.
Right?
My buddy told me to ask this. You. So how do we? Is there a way to measure people in the beginning to see if they're going to be like that in the future? Yeah, in the future.
Unless you're like, you have one of these crystal balls or something like that, man.
Yeah. So
I
there's
mean,
really.
you know, people can be chameleons, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
So then, what would be the recommendation then? How do we get that past that faster?
dude, if I know that, I'd be a millionaire because I'd have
Yeah.
books, I'd have self-help videos. I have no clue. I think just being genuine, be yourself.
Yeah.
You know, because the other people, that's what you're going to attract positive people if you're positive yourself anyway.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a trip, man. You know, you see these stickers on cars, you know, I'm toxic.
Oh
know?
yeah, I see that. Yeah.
It's like, really?
Why would you advertise that?
Right?
But yeah, there's a certain sense of pride in that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why.
You know, I don't understand that. I don't get that at all. It's like, man, if that's you, really? I'm out. You know, it's like vampire stuff.
Do you think people tell on themselves?
Oh, 100%.
Yes. Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
So then why don't we see those red flags, so to say, and cut it? Why do we continue then?
I don't know, because I think we as people are real visual. And I think if we see someone and it's like, oh, well, I want to get to know that person. And then so you're making the effort. And then when you finally know that person, like, oh, man, you know,
Yeah,
you're not the same person I saw. Even though you're the same person standing in front of me, you're not the same person I met or saw.
Yeah, 100%. I don't want to talk bad about my ex-wife, my kid's mom, because I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that she's given me the 3 best things in my life. But yeah, at the time, she was the most attractive woman I had ever met. And I saw the things that like, hey, I know she's not going to be a good partner for me. And not that she's a bad person. She's just not the good partner for me. And, but no, because she was the most attractive woman I had ever met at the time. I was committed to doing whatever I had to make it work. And in the end, it didn't work like I knew in the beginning, but yeah, I, especially men, I think men are very visual creatures.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think that's the first thing we like, we see, we put the most weight on is what we see.
Yeah, for sure, man.
What about you? Are women visual creatures? And as far as like they put a lot of importance on what they see. Like men, we put what we see is probably the highest importance.
No, because I have some really pretty girlfriends that are with not so great looking things, but it's
I like how you call them things.
Right.
Men.
Hello, I'm sitting right here.
sorry.
Wow.
Right?
You know,
I don't know why, but she
No,
likes
just
it.
kidding.
my girl Candace and Quasi over there.
But,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Things.
But
Hi, buddy.
And so it's not really like that for us, right? I think it's more like, oh, this is who they are and this is what they do and this is what they have. That kind of thing, right?
I don't like
And
that.
yeah, but I think also like, yeah, in my last one, it was more the looks. Like I was like, oh my God, like,
Yeah, see,
you know,
he was
and
very
I
handsome.
had never been like that with anybody ever, you know? And I was like that. And there was things that I saw and I did ignore them. And I was like, no, like he had been through all of this. He's gonna see that I'm different. Like I'm so focused on work and make no, no. It was like I would get in trouble. You're working too much. You need to put that laptop away. And I'm like,
Wow.
but yeah,
Yeah, that's one thing I would never do. I would never get in the way of people making their money, you know, because everybody's got to eat. You know, the Bible says that everybody's got to eat. We all got to work. Um, so that's one thing I would never do. If
Yeah.
the person I'm going out with at the time says I got to do this, oh, have at it. I'll see you when you get off. You know,
Right.
we'll go eat after when you get done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
it's a midnight. Fine, we'll eat at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes it was like yesterday morning I woke up, right, and I knew that the night before, Andy, I was working on a file that I had submitted, and then I got an updated notice on an approval. These people are homeless right now
Oh,
because
jeez.
they sold the house that they were living in because the owner died. They sold it, so they're all staying either in a hotel or Airbnb, right? So, but whenever I ask for stuff, they're so quick at getting me their stuff. So then I was like, hey, it was early, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm texting them, hey, can you call me when you have a minute? I got an updated approval. I need to get this resubmitted. The guy had me everything within an hour, right? Where I probably would have gotten in trouble for working. But I called them, I went over this stuff. I packaged up the file and resent it out to my processor. But I would get in trouble for stuff like that, you
And
know?
that was in the beginning. He would act like that.
It was actually, yeah, it was because it was 6 months after I was dating him.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is quick.
Well, he was like you say. I bet he was exceptionally handsome.
He was.
Yeah. See.
I mean, what is the perfect package? Is that a real thing? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think so because I think it changes as like what I like now is not what I liked 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You know what I'm attracted to now is significantly different than you know last decade.
Right, right.
Does it change for women?
I think so, yeah.
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 Do you think that when women are younger, they're more attracted to hotness or whatever that hotness is perceived to be for the time versus when they get older?
Yeah.
When does that change for women?
I'm not sure when it changes, but I know that like I'm telling you, some of my girlfriends they are beautiful. And when I meet the guy, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so
But
obviously their standards changed. Yeah.
yeah. But then it's like everything that they have and how they are and then I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense, you know?
But now, are you looking at it as your standard?
Yeah, because yeah, that's right. 'Cause to her, what if that guy's super hot?
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's
Mm,
unfortunate that we all judge a book by its cover. We all do,
yeah.
regardless. Until you actually know that person. I mean, that could be the greatest person ever, but, maybe there's some flaws in the looks, so we all revert back to like, yeah, you're cool to talk to, but yeah, I'm not gonna take you to public. We'll go to a dark. I'll take you to a
Take your
movie where
phone.
it's dark, but
Let's go to a dark bar and
Oh
we're gonna
my
sit in the
God.
back.
right? Yeah, I go in first and you come around the front door, type of thing.
I'll open the back door for you.
But I like
Oh
talking to
my
you.
God.
You know what I'm
But you're
saying?
chill as hell, so let's go.
So I mean, I think that's just the way it is. But then again, too, we're all three different individual people. So what what we see is totally different from
Mhm.
what we all like or want.
Yeah, I would say that our standards are all each different. Each one
Yeah,
of
for
us.
sure, for sure. It would have to be,
Yeah.
you know, because then you got people fighting for the same person all the time.
But you know what? I kind of think that's happening now because I'm telling you, I have friends. I work with 6 foot, 6 pack, 6 figure, and man, these dudes they get chicks just throwing themselves at him, and man, some of the stories he's told me about the things that he's done, like I would think that it's nonsense. But he's shown me the text messages. He's shown me and I'm like, man. So I think it's happening now. I think there are people that are just grabbing all the, or guys, I should say. I don't know about the female perspective, but there are men that are grabbing all the girls. I see it happening.
You know, there's a dude that I know. I don't really talk to him too much anymore, and I'll tell you why. I just not the kind of dude that I would like to hang out with. And this dude was yoked out, you know, not a bad looking dude, you know, and same thing. He would show his conquests, and, you know, I mean, and I use the term dime, you know, a 10 plus woman. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of them were just gorgeous, but he had told me a story with this one person. He went out with her one time, and she didn't call him back the next day at a time he thought she should have. And I'm like, so what's the problem? He's like, nah, man. He goes, I was really into this chick. I said, bro, you went out with her one time.
Wow.
You know? And then he's kind of, well, you know, look at me. I said, that's your problem right there, bro.
Arrogant, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a difference between confidence and arrogance.
100%.
Yeah. It's okay to be confident.
Yeah.
It's not okay to be arrogant.
No,
That's
man.
a narcissistic trait.
Yeah.
But remember I talked to you about that ex, Andy? Remember I told you I think it has something to do with that because he was very good looking. And when I met him, like, I hung out with him, right? But I never tried to, like, I just was like, no, I was going through a divorce at the time. When I finally started dating him, 15, 16 years later, he threw it in my face all the time. You were the first girl to ever not go out with me. I took you to dinner twice. I never talked to you. And I didn't talk to him after. I was like, no, right? Wow. And he always threw it in my face. And I was like, do you resent me for that? Like, I didn't want to date. I was going through a divorce and, you know, blah. But he always threw that in my face.
Killed his ego at that time.
Yeah. I think so. And I thought about that too, because he would do it a lot.
I guess that's the difference too with being humble. You know, if you're not a humble individual, you know, you're going to resent all that. It's like, you know, hey, you may have $2 in your wallet, but you think you're this, you know, solid, chiseled dude, man. It's like, that's not all you have to offer, bro.
Yeah, but there are some people that do think that's
yeah.
Yeah, they think
obviously.
I'm tall, I'm good looking. That's it. I'm
yeah.
People should be flocking to me. There's a lot of people. I know dudes like that.
For sure. They can't spell intelligence, but you know. And it's not a bash on, you know, bodybuilder dudes. I mean, but I'm just, don't come at me, bro. I'm just saying, you know, I mean, besides having muscles here, you got to have muscles up here.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to be genuine in your heart, you know.
But do you think that, because we all love attention. Attention validates us. Attention makes us feel important. Attention makes us feel worthy. So we all love attention.
Right.
Do you think that, like, you referenced bodybuilders, I remember I had a friend that she told me, who doesn't like a buff guy? And I was like, yeah, that's true. And even I look at buff guys. I'm like, damn, look at that fool. Hey, he's do that. Even I go, damn, I wish I could be like that. So do you think that if you get too much attention, like you become arrogant, you become a narcissist? Can too much attention be bad?
I don't know if you can become a narcissist. I think you got that in you from the get-go. Can you become arrogant? Sure. You know, if you're getting the attention, now you become conceited.
Yeah.
You know, there's no confidence behind that. You know, I mean, I've been called an attention whore. I'm just a social butterfly.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm at, I talk to people.
Yeah.
That's just my thing. You know, I don't like to sit stale. You know, just don't come at me with religion and politics.
Church tomorrow. Just kidding.
That was the next topic of discussion.
No, you know what? No,
Republican or Democrat?
I know.
But you know what? If I see somebody who's hurting, I'm not a Bible thumper. You know, I am Catholic, and I tell people, I said, my faith is right here.
Yeah.
That's my faith. And I'm not going to say you have to do this, but just understand, you know, I mean, we all need God in our life. We do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because when we're in despair, what's the first thing we do?
Yeah, go to
God
bed.
help me,
Yep.
you know. So I'll end it with that. But you know, uh, I talk about current events or just, hey, you know, what do you do? How you doing? Type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I kind of float around. You know, that's my thing. You
Yeah.
know,
How about you, Gabby? Can too much attention change a woman?
I mean, I think yes and no, because I'm kind of like you. I am a social butterfly as well. I talk to everybody.
yeah,
Um, but I'm like you too, because then like people that are hurting or whatnot, I talk to everybody. And so, but I'm not all conceited. I've been told that I'm very humble. And so they're like, oh my God, you like, you look like a bitch, but you're not. And I'm really not, you know?
Yeah, you've
I
always
think what
been
happens is that,
cool.
you
Yeah.
know, usually like if you in my office, I am just work, work, work,
all
right?
right.
So people I think were scared to come up to me because I'm just so even my boss will be like, he'll just stand at my door and he's like, hey, I know you're focused, but can I ask you? And I was like, yeah. But, you know, I think some people just think that I am. And then once they talk to me, they're like, oh my God, you're like super cool, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
So then attention may or may not, depending on the person,
I think so.
have a negative effect.
I think so.
Is there a way to measure that? Like, can we tell whether it's gonna, if that person's, how would you measure, or what advice would you give us to measure arrogance versus confidence in a woman? What are some traits that I could pay attention to and say, oh, that's arrogance or that's confidence?
Hmm. Well, you know what? I've seen some people like in my business, Andy, they are very arrogant, right? And then they think they're all that. And I'm not a hater of a pretty girl, but they're really not that cute, really
Mhm.
not even that pretty. And they think they are the world, right? And then people are like, oh my God, she's such a bitch. But she's like that with people. And it, you know, she can come off like that to you, to somebody else. And unless she's probably getting something from somebody, then she's nice to that person.
So one thing to look at is her behavior. If she's getting something,
Oh, yeah.
she's great. If she's not, she's kind of mean to that
Yeah.
person. Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good piece of advice. So pay attention to more than just the way she behaves in front of me. Pay attention to how she's with everyone else. I would like that one saying, uh, uh, measure people by how they treat their servers.
Right.
Think that's a good one?
I think it's a little racist.
Well, we had to say
Sorry.
server. That was good.
Waiters, waitresses, forgive me.
Can we take
Forgive
Can we
me.
take a time out? I gotta use a.
And we're back. We had to take it a bathroom break. So what were we talking about? We're talking about
I want to say narcissism and no, but it was
arrogance, confidence.
yeah, there we go.
Arrogance, confidence. And the great advice, like if you called me a racist because of the servers. Waiters, waitresses. Thank you for the correction, sir. I needed that. Check my privilege. You know, I say that joking.
Oh, of course, of course, of
I
course.
joke about that. But that was a good piece of advice about how they behave when they're getting something when versus they're not getting something.
Yeah.
That's a good point. What else? What else could we look for? What else would tell me that this person is arrogant and not confident? Or have you noticed anything, Anthony, that something that would tell you in people in general that they're arrogant versus confident?
I think, in my experience only, the difference is somebody who's confident. There's an aura about them, but their personality is very humble and all around being nice. Somebody who's arrogant is always going to shoot anything you say down and going to try and talk over you and always wants to be right.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, very
Wow.
good point. Yeah,
That is true. Because the person that I dated, he was everything that you just said, right? Where actually the last person that I just went out on a date with, he was arrogant. All he did was speak of himself.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was that?
And even though with me he was a little bit different, but my girlfriend was like, "Oh my God, all he ever did was speak of himself. He never asked me questions." Where with me, he was asking me questions, but then I noticed certain things, and I was just like,
Wow,
because he
so
was always talking about himself.
that's a good one. Because I'm trying to, right now off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of interactions I've had with people that always talk about themselves, and yeah, I've had people that just it's just about them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. But I like your point about looking for signs of confidence, looking for signs of support. Of do they hear you out? Do they pay attention? Are they just waiting to say something? You
Right.
know?
It's all about that banter back and forth and the engagement,
Yeah,
as long as it's all positive. When it starts turning negative, it's like, well, wait a minute. And I'm not saying that you can't have your own opinion on things, but I mean, there's ways of doing it,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. Wow, that's a good point. So would it be wiser to more time efficient? Would it be more time efficient to look for signs of confidence versus signs of arrogance, or should we do both?
Definitely do both because look, I don't want to waste my breath on somebody who's arrogant,
Yeah,
you know, because there's nothing, I'm not saying that there's anything to gain, but what am I going to get out of it? Just start getting upset and be like, man, you're an idiot,
yeah.
and cause friction for what? It's like, hey, that's your opinion. All right, brother. I see you later, you know?
What about you, Gabby? Should we do both, or should we focus on one versus the other? Confidence for signs of confidence versus signs of arrogance.
I think we should be looking at both, right? But then also be watching out for the insecurities
How?
because, where I saw in my last relationship, it was a whole arrogance, but there was a whole lot of insecurities.
What are some signs of insecurities?
Oh my God, there was so many things that he was doing where he was doing like so many things, just comments that he would say, um,
So always
um,
attacking somebody,
always attacking somebody.
trying to bring them down.
Uh-huh. And
Let me guess. Are you wearing that? Why are you wearing that? Where are you going after work?
oh yeah,
You know?
yeah,
Yeah, those are good signs. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
100%, you know?
yeah,
It's that whole control aspect of it,
right.
you know? Oh, you said you're only going to get gas. Why do you got to put your makeup on type of stuff, you know?
yeah. Those are all signs of control, and not good signs. Red flags.
And
So
mind you, these are things I don't say. These are things that I've heard from friends or people I know,
yeah, yeah, because we all
that
got.
are in
Mhm.
toxic relationships. And, my follow-up is then why are you in it?
Well, speaking from my own experience, to me, like my ex-wife, she was the most attractive person I had ever met at that time. And so, yeah, you stay because you think, at least for me, this is gonna be. I'm gonna show my own immaturity. At the time, I thought I couldn't get any better. I thought that this was the epitome of what a woman should be, and I had no idea what that even meant. But that's how I felt.
And I'm sure you're not alone in that, I'm sure that's happened to a lot of people, but then you got to look, take yourself outside and start looking on the inside from it and the damage you're doing to yourself
Mhm.
and the damage you're doing to everyone else around, you know? Um, and people have to get out of that aspect of, I'm never going to find anybody better. That's not true.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
now you're just solely looking at one aspect of somebody. It's all tunnel visioned out, you're not looking at the whole picture. I mean, uh, uh, somebody who's caring, somebody who's loving, somebody's got a great personality, somebody's going to laugh with you.
Mhm.
you know there's all kinds of aspects of people. It's not just the superficial, you know
yeah,
so
yeah. So I think we need to. At least I needed that when I first in my early 20s. I needed that guidance, that help, and that's why I'm doing this. I want to pass on that wisdom that we've all garnered through being on this planet for an extended period of time. And that's great advice. That's fantastic advice. And you too, Gabby. I love the wisdom that you've shared right now.
well, I think what it is too, man, is we have to look at our elders and understand what they've gone through. And as we get older,
Mhm.
you know, for me, I mean, life's precious. I get it. We have one life to live, but you know, I'm not gonna take my time to step slowly over the curb. I'm gonna jump still, but I'm gonna do it smarter.
Right.
You know,
It seems like we don't pay attention to our elders anymore. Why do you think that is?
I blame social media.
What about you? What do you think it is? Gabby, what do you think? Do you think social media is the biggest culprit for that?
Mm, you know, I mean, I've like with me and my girlfriends, a lot of the times we don't really go to our elders. We go to each other. Maybe we don't want to hear it from our elders, you know. I don't know. I never went to, you know.
So how do we can we change that? Is that something that we can change in the people around us? And first of all, is it beneficial? I'm assuming you think it is.
I think it is because you know they have a lot more life experience,
Yeah.
and you know they've gone through things maybe uh, more than once than we are going through now.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the people that are older than myself, and you know, uh, they've gone through uh, wars.
Yeah.
You know, there may be some of us that are just barely going through one. You know, so their knowledge sometimes it may not apply to the things we're trying to do in life, but at least hear them out to see how they would overcome emotional issues, see how they would
Mm.
overcome, you know, maybe some psychological issues or something, relationship issues, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because back then, obviously, relationships were a lot different than they are now. And we kind of talked about this off the air, going back to this whole dating scene. You know, the roles have changed now. You know, women are taking on the role of a man, you know, uh, uh, than as it was back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Women are much more masculine, or I don't want to say that they're much more masculine, but they're taking on more masculine jobs, traits, behaviors. Because there are a lot more women having to be the sole provider for their family, for their for their kids. So yeah, um,
It's funny because I was watching something on social media, one of these little memes where, you know, there's two women just standing outside the house, and these two guys walk by, and these chicks are like, "Hey, baby, come here. What's
Oh,
up?
I
Come
saw
here." You
that
see
one.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but it's like, it's funny in nature, but it's like, man, that's kind of how
That's
things
what we
have
have to deal with.
switched.
But
yeah. So
yeah,
yeah.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So now, yeah,
So is that
I
ever
know.
going to go back? Do you think we? First of all, is that bad or is that negative? Has a negative effect on society? And if it does, is there a way to bring the old ways back?
I personally think it's okay, man. I mean, you know, if a woman sees something and wants to pursue it, by all means, go after it.
Yeah.
You know, what have you got to lose? Maybe you'll realize the rejection that we used to get when a guy's like, "Nah, man," you
Oh.
know.
What do you think?
So
You think it's bad, or what do you think has a negative effect on society? And can we bring it back?
You know, I'm not like that. Yeah, no. That whole rejection thing. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, 'cause it sucks.
Yeah, no, thanks. I'm good.
It sucks. It's like being kicked in the groin.
Yeah, but I do have friends that they'll be that. They're like, I don't care. Like, and I'm like, whoa, like, I want to be like her when I grow up. Just kidding. No, I don't. No,
right,
no.
right.
And but like I'm like, damn, I like that they're like that. They don't care, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's not me.
Is it changing? Yes, it's changing, but is it changing for a reason? Are we? I think we're becoming more androgynous. So I think that it's hard to test if you look at just the data as far as job performance, productivity, intelligence, like all these different data points. We seem to be more androgynous. We seem to be. You can't if you look at the data alone, you can't tell if it's the person they're testing is male or female because they're the same. So do you think as a society we're trying to get to that point for a reason where Because before, like, 100 years ago, women weren't allowed to go to college, or they had to go to certain colleges. Not that they weren't allowed, because they were allowed, but they had to go to certain colleges and they were expected to take certain classes. Where men were allowed to take whatever classes they want. So data points, if you test IQ levels, because there's different types of IQ tests. But now you can't tell anymore. Before you could tell, like, oh yeah, that's a man, because look at how high he scores in math. But now you can't. It's just
Right.
it's only at the fringes that we're able to tell male and female. But as aggregate, as a whole, you can't tell anymore if you look at just the data. So do you think it's for a purpose that we're turning this way?
I don't think it's a purpose. I just think women want to be validated. I think for me, there shouldn't be a difference. But again, as I get older, I think differently. When I was younger, and in the career we're in, at first it's like, well, this is a dangerous job. Maybe a woman shouldn't be in that. But again, as I get older, my thought process changed. Let's all just be equal, man. Prove me or show me that you cannot do this. So,
what about you, Gabby? Do you think it's for a purpose? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's...
I just think, like, I have a lot of girlfriends who, a lot of us are, we're all single moms, and a lot of us are very strong and independent, and we meet people that are just not like that. And it's kind of sad. Like, it's, you can't, so we have to stand up for ourselves and take care of ourselves. And yeah, I don't know. I wish we could find these old ones, like you guys say. I don't know where they hang out, but
yeah, thanks. I feel old now.
I'm just kidding.
No, but
I'm the same age, okay? No.
But it's true. As well, for me, as I get older, I start thinking about there's more of a thought process than just running and gunning, man, and and jumping into things, because you have to be,
Wow. We've been going for some time now, so I know we can keep going. Me and you, we talk for hours and hours,
sure.
And I spend time on the phone with you talking for hours. So for the purposes of the podcast, we're gonna cut it here. Is there anything you would say to people out there trying to learn to become a better human being, a better person, better man, better woman, better whatever? What piece of advice, or better way to put it, what piece of advice would you give to yourself when you were 21?
For me, I'd say, look within yourself, be smart, don't be reckless, and just think things through. And give people the benefit of the doubt.
Wow, that's a good one. What about you? What would you say to your 21-year-old self?
Well, I think, it's kind of like what you said, but it's, where my therapist says, like, you're doing a lot of self-reflection, and you doing that, you're growing a lot. And, I think because I've seen both where girlfriends are like, oh, poor me, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, but you had a part in that story, whether it was good or bad, but acknowledge that and then learn from it and move on. It's not
Right.
we're always, oh, poor me, because I'm not even like that, because I know that even in my situation, I had a part in it. I could have walked away.
Right.
I didn't. So, and I just really think, reflect on, what you should have, could have changed, and work on that for your future,
That's good. Yeah, always. Because I say that, look at yourself yesterday so that you can see how you're better today.
Yeah.
And then think about today so that you can be better tomorrow. So reflection is important. It's a good piece of advice. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope we've grown, that we've all grown. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments, and either myself or my guests will address those questions. Like and subscribe, and thank you so much.